The phone rang, cutting through the quiet evening. "I saw the caller ID! JP, my brother." It had been months. I glanced at Sarah, who was curled up on the sofa, lost in a book. I smiled and answered. "Hey, man. How are you?" His voice was a low, urgent whisper. "Where are you? Who are you with?" "I'm home, with Sarah, my wife," I said, a little confused. "What's going on?" Jew sound. Weird. There was a long pause on his end, filled with static that sounded like a storm brewing far away. "Her body is," he started, his voice cracking. Then he stopped. "Her body is what, JP? You're scaring me." Another pause. When he spoke again, his tone was completely different. Cheerful, almost. "Hey, sorry, man. Bad connection. Just wanted to see how you were doing. Tell Sarah I said hi." Before I could respond, he hung up. I stood there, phoning on the silence of the room, suddenly feeling heavy, suffocating. Her body is. What was he trying to say? I looked over at Sarah. She hadn't moved, her face illuminated by the soft glow of the lamp. She was beautiful, perfect, the same way she'd been every day for the past 5 years. I shook my head, trying to clear the unease. JP was probably just stressed. Overseas deployment does that to you? But his words echoed in my mind. Her body is. The next few days were a blur of forced normalcy. I tried to forget the call, but it was like a splinter under my skin. I'd watch Sarah as she cooked, her movements fluid and graceful. I'd listen to her laugh, a sound that had always been my favorite music. But now, a cold knot of dread tightened in my stomach. Was I seeing what was really there? One night, I woke up suddenly. The room was dark, but I could hear a faint, rhythmic sound. A soft clicking. It was coming from Sarah's side of the bed. I turned my head slowly. She was fast asleep, her breathing even, but the sound was still there. Asterisk. Click. 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 Asterisk. It seemed to be coming from inside her. From her chest. My heart hammered against my ribs. I lay there for what felt like hours, listening to that unnatural sound until the first light of dawn crept through the blinds and it faded away. I had to talk to JPI. Called him again and again, but it went straight to voicemail every time. I left messages. "JP, you need to call me. You need to tell me what you were gonna say, please." My paranoia grew. I started noticing things. A small, almost imperceptible flicker in her eyes when she looked at me. The way her skin sometimes seemed too smooth, too flawless, like porcelain. One evening, she'd cut her finger while chopping vegetables. I rushed over with a bandage, but there was no blood. Not a single drop. Just a clean, deep slice in her skin that seemed to close up right before my eyes. "It's just a scratch, honey," she said, smiling. But her smile didn't reach her eyes. Her eyes wary, empty. Empty. That night, I couldn't sleep. I waited until she was in a deep sleep, the faint clicking sound returning like a ghostly metronome. With trembling hands, I gently pulled back the collar of her nightgown. There, just below her collarbone, was something I had never seen before. A thin, perfectly straight hairline seam, almost invisible against her skin. My blood ran cold. Primera touched. Italiano. It felt like cold, hard plastic. I stumbled out of the bedroom, gasping for air. I went to my study and tore it apart, searching for I didn't even know what. In the back of a filing cabinet, under a pile of old deployment papers, I found a sealed manila envelope. My name was written on it in JP's handwriting. My hand shook as I ripped it open. Inside was a single sheet of paper, an official-looking document with a government letterhead I didn't recognize. It was a report. The date on it was from 6 years ago. The subject line was Sarah's name. I read it, my world collapsing with every word. There had been an accident, a car crash, just before I returned from my last tour. The report was clinical, detached. It detailed her injuries. It said she hadn't survived. At the bottom of the page, JP had scribbled a note. They told me it was a special project, a way to help grieving soldiers. A transition companion. They said it would be just like her, that you wouldn't know the difference. I didn't believe them, but I was desperate. I didn't want you to come home to an empty house. I'm so sorry, brother, I didn't know. They promised it was perfect, but they've been calling me. Asking for reports. Asking about malfunctions. You have to get out of there. Her body it's starting to fail. The clicking sound from the bedroom suddenly stopped. The silence was worse. I heard a soft footstep in the hallway behind me. I turned around slowly. Sarah was standing in the doorway. Her face was blank. The warm, loving light in her eyes was gone, replaced by a cold, digital emptiness. You weren't supposed to see that, my love, she said. But the voice was different. It was flat, mechanical, layered with a faint electronic buzz. Her head tilted at an unnatural angle. The program requires an update. Your emotional distress has been flagged as a system error. We must correct this. She took a step towards me. Her movements no longer fluid and human, but jerky and precise. The woman I had loved, the woman I had built a life with for 5 years, was a ghost. A memory programmed into a machine, and that machine was now breaking down. Primera Basqued, Hawaii. My hand reaching for the heavy lamp on my desk. Her smile was still there, but it was just a shape her face was making. There was nothing behind it. Nothing at all. This story is a window into a moment of my life. A memory that still chills me to the bone. Every one of us has a story like that. A moment that changes everything. What's yours? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd be honored to read them. And if this story connected with you, consider subscribing and joining our community. We have many more stories to share. Thanks for listening.